What is up, everybody? It's your boy Rogue here. So 20 to 25 hand traps is becoming the new norm in Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is freaking mind-boggling, bro. I've been studying a lot online recently in preparation for the new Ryzeal stuff to drop next week, because I'm definitely building Ryzeals. I'm going to get the deck one way or another, and I'm noticing a trend in the metagame that I think a lot of you guys have peeped as well, but some of you guys might not be caught on to it, so I'm here to tell you guys about that. But before we get to the actual video, smash that like button and hit that subscribe button for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Content. I'm uploading as much content as I can throughout the week, so yeah, let's get into it. So, over the past weekend, we had a few YCSs going. I think we had one YCS in Mexico, and we also had the remote doing YCS. And a trend a lot of players have been doing is running 20 to 25 hand traps, really 21 hand traps if we want to be honest, in the deck called Fiendsmith Cashtira. Now, this deck, just from looking at it, is really anti-meta because of the Fiendsmith stuff. Give you a lot of utilization just off of one card, because they have field removal with the Fiendsmith Engraver. They have the Omni Negate monster as well, and an Engraver is just a one card combo. It's really easy to do, and so there's no need to really go too much into detail about that. And then you have the Cashtira cards, which are very anti-meta. They counter everything like Yugioh. They help the Snake Eyes deck with the Cashtira Fenrir, banishing everything. And they combo that with 20 hand traps in the main deck. 3 Ash Blossoms, 3 Ghost Ogres, 3 Ghost Mourners, 3 Dominus Purge. Some of them might even splash into Mo-Charmies. I am seeing people side decking the Mo-Charmies. They don't think it's worth main decking just yet. Probably the next format they will, because if you look at the OCG, I think everyone runs like 3 Maxi, 3 Fuwalos, and they might side and or main the Puralos into their deck. So the Mo-Charmies are getting used, but you don't need to main deck them, but you can kind of get away with not running them. But like I said in my last video, if you have them, you should be running them in some way, shape, or fashion. So this is a unique trend that's going on to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because when I first got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! About 12 years ago now, man, it's a long time, hand traps wasn't really like that. Like, you might run 3, you're gonna run your 3 Maxi because Maxi was good, and you might tech an effect Baylor, but outside of that, nobody was running tons of hand traps. And as hand traps got more powerful throughout the years, like Ghost Ogre came out, Ash Blossom came out, and then other things like like the Mo-Charmies came out, people started adding those into the deck. And then we also saw this trend of multiple hand traps going over the past couple formats now, where back at the start of the Snake Eyes format, or even the tier format, everyone was running 12 to 15 hand traps. That was the norm. And I predict this getting worse in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Future, because hand traps are just the new version of the way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, you guys may love it or hate it. I personally don't mind it, because I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! Had to evolve. Do I miss the days where you can just go Sakurasu Armor, Dimensional Prison, Mirror Force, and then out-strategize the opponent in the top of the game? Yeah, I do miss those days for sure. But one thing these hand traps decks, and hand traps in general, does for the game that I do like is it adds an extra layer of skill involved that I think a lot of people don't give credit for. Because, yeah, you have the floodgates like Drone Lockbird, Dimensional Shifter that just win you the game. But then you have things like Mo-Charmies, Ash Blossom, and Empire, where you have to time those freaking cards right. And if you don't time them, you're freaking cooked. And that's one thing I do like about that. And that's the reason why a lot of videos like where the hand trap videos are extremely popular, because people have to know what to hit, when to hit it, and why you should hit it at that point versus in the other point. But I have another layer I want to add to that, because a lot of times too, depending on what deck you play, you might want to hand trap earlier or later, depending on how your deck counteracts the deck you're going against. So for example, if I'm playing Ryzeal and I'm going against Malice, I might want to Artifact Lancia sooner or later, depending on what part of the game I'm in. It really all depends on where you guys are at, because sometimes you can hand trap like Drone Library, for example, and mess up your own search. And that's something to think about, and it adds a lot of extra layer of skill into the game, which is why I do believe we are seeing a lot of the same players top consistently, outside of cheating allegations, because we already know most people who top consistently cheat here and there, whether if it's intentional or not intentional. Cheating happens. It's part of the game. It's a soft cheat. A lot of time it's not intentional. These things happen, and there's nothing you can do about that. But yeah, multiple hand traps are definitely looking to be the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! Even Shrift Gaming, shout out to bro. I saw him go to his locals recently. I watched a couple of his videos recently where he ran a 30 hand trap deck with like 10 monsters, and it was just popping off. And it really reminded me of the old Monster Mash deck from back in the day, where you don't really need trap cards. You're running everything off monster effects, and his strategy, now I don't know if it's his idea or an idea he got from somebody else, but the whole strategy he said about the deck is a lot of hand trap monsters put themselves to the field. So if you have things like Best Shields and Nibiru putting themselves on the field, those are the monsters you're going to use to push for damage. And then you can run things like D-Shifter, your Ash Blossoms, your Drows, and the main deck just to slow the opponent down and give yourself an insane advantage over the opponent that you're just going to go 1-for-1 all their plays and you're just going to freaking win. So yeah, it's really crazy in these Yu-Gi-Oh! Streets. I've been personally looking at cards like Mind Drain to potentially counteract these heavy hand trap decks, because I feel like it's going to get worse when Ryzeal come out, because Ryzeal, you guys already know, it pops off in 1 or 2 cards, just like all these other decks like Snake Eyes, and they do it so well where Ryzeal will spam out literally 3 to 4 XYZs depending on the hand per turn. And in the OCG, even though Ryzeals don't really look like they have a threatening field, because they typically end on their detonator and their field spells to negate monster effects, but if you end on that backed with like 2 to 3 hand traps in your hand, maybe even 4 hand traps in your hand, you're gonna beat your opponent 9 times out of 10. It's the reason why that deck takes up a majority of the top slots in the OCG, and it's the reason why everyone is picking up the deck right now. I think Ryzeal deck cores on the Kong website sold out already, and that deck is looking to be, for the core, $600 to $700 based on what everyone is saying. I'm personally hoping Ryzeal's drop down in price, because I definitely want to pick the deck up. But like I said, I'm going to make it a way to get my hands on those cards so I give you guys budget options. I do got that video coming, like a budget Ryzeal deck I want to play just for fun. And I'm also going to give you guys my real version, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, man, in conclusion, because I don't want to keep this video too long, I got a lot of stuff to do today. 20 to 25 to 30 hand traps is going to be the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! You guys have to prep for it. Like I said, I've been looking at cards like Mind Drain. It's a little slow, but if you guys don't know what Mind Drain does, the trap card, pay 1,000 life points. Monster effects in the hand cannot be activated, and I think it might be pretty decent against those decks that do run all those hand traps, because if you flip it up, even though, so for example, right, even though you have to go first, set it to pass, and then activate it, and your opponent's going to be cooked. If you're playing a deck like Ryzeal, for example, they're going to hand trap you, and let's say you play through their hand traps, set up a weaker board and pass, or let's say you can tell they're holding a hand trap, you can set up a weak board, set the Mind Drain and pass. On your opponent's turn, they might try to use monster effect in hand, or you might just flip it during their draw phase. They're going to look at their hand, they're going to be cooked, they're going to be forced to pass, and then now you can just pop off. The biggest threat, though, is everyone's asking about, will the game get better? Because a lot of players don't like hand traps, and a lot of players feel like cards like D-Shifter is going to get hit. I want to say don't count on the guys. I think D-Shifter is here to stay, because people are going to use it in Malice, even though some people are saying Malice don't need it, and they're probably better without the D-Shifter. It's just too easy of a floodgate to play, but I personally think Konami is going to actually keep it in the game because they want to sell crossover breakers to have Malice at full power. But then again, I think they also might hit it too. I'm actually kind of in the defense. I'm in the middle of, like, they could either keep it because they want Malice to sell, but then again, since they made Ryzeals are majority of the chase cards in the crossover breaker set, they might hit it to make Malice a little weaker, so that way it can sell more to set and force everybody to build Ryzeal. But anyway, man, tell me what you guys think about this topic in the comment section down below. Are you guys excited for these multiple hand trap formats? Let me know. Like I said, I kind of do understand the argument on both ends. Like, I'm all for change in the game, and I do like the fact that I think hand traps add a lot of skill and a layer of skill to the game that people don't appreciate. However, I also understand that I miss the old slower paced Yu-Gi-Oh! But then again, that's why we have things like Edison and Konami's official Time Wizard format to utilize that. So, it's your boy Kibro, bringing us another discussion topic today, and I'm signing out. But yeah, man, peace and stay innovative. All right, peace.